Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where brands watch each other's ads and then discuss what's good and bad about them. This week, we're brought to you by our partner Contagious, who have chosen this week's ad. But before we get to that, let's meet this week's guests.
Hi, I'm Tamara Connolly. I'm the Consumer Marketing Director at Neurolign Technologies.
Hi, I'm Phil Walker, and I'm the Senior Brand Manager for Nivea Face Care.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's see this week's ad.
Jason, I need you to turn around and look at yourself in the mirror right now.
I know today is a big day for you.
I know you might be a little nervous.
Remember to breathe.
You have everything you need to get what you want in this world. I don't want to see any pouting on that face, any wrinkles, any frown lines. I don't want to see anything but you holding your head up like the king.
And remember, you are my greatest dreams realized.
You have prepared for this. You are ready. Like, you can't be more ready than you are right now. You know what I'm saying? You were born fabulous. And I don't want anyone to make you feel less than.
Now you go into that room and show them who you are.
And you be you, that's your job. In the bag. I love you, baby.
Right. Tamara, what did you first think when you saw that?
Yeah, when I saw that, I thought of it from multiple levels, loved it overall, really enjoyed it. As a marketer, I was also like, you guys nailed that storyboard, the universal insight, that universal truth that everyone at some point is nervous about being judged, and having H&M really show up as the support or as that guide to say like, hey, I've got you. Here's this amazing suit. You're gonna crush the interview. It was just end to end a really, really good advertisement.
Yeah, I thought it was a good ad. I thought it could have been executed a little better, but overall I thought it was good. I thought it felt very relevant and meaningful given the current circumstances. We know that the younger generation have been hit hardest by the pandemic in terms of jobs. So this felt like it's an initiative and an ad that came at the right time. And I thought it was good from an awareness perspective as well. Like, I didn't know H&M really sold suits. I saw them more as a kind of, I knew they sold men's clothes, but I saw them as fast fashion. It wouldn't be somewhere that I would naturally think of to go and buy a suit for an interview.
So, Tamara, what would have been your builds on this ad? It sounds like you really liked it, but what would have made it better for you?
Yeah, there was just one part that I didn't love, and it was at the end, the call to action. And I'll be honest, at first, it was confusing because it was saying hire instead of rental. And I was like, oh, what does this mean? But then I realized it's a translational thing between UK and US. But I got tripped up over the 1 second suit name thing. And I wish they would have just given me like a normal call to action, give me a website, give me a go-to, something else. Because it took away from all of the build and, excitement that I had right before that.
So, Phil, what was your view of that? Because the start of the ad talks about, I think it takes 1 second to make a first impression. And then the kind of callback to that is the 1 second suit strat, which I think is what was going on. But Phil, did that work for you? Or did you also feel a little bit sort of confused as to what actually you're supposed to do?
I kind of get it. When you've paid attention to the first few seconds of the ad, it kind of makes sense, but a lot of people might have skipped the first 2 seconds of the ad, and then it doesn't make an awful lot of sense at the end. I think they could have just made it a lot more simple, like 24-hour suit hire for free. The strapline didn't do what the initiative is about, really.
Aren't we moving into a time when we won't be doing face-to-face interviews where suits won't be necessary? Are H&M potentially being a bit cheeky here by offering something that's got great PR value, great social value, that doesn't actually have any real world value.
There's something to be said for that first impression and wanting to feel really good, and the insight that, clothes make you feel a certain way. So if you feel like you're at least externally ready, internally, it's going to give you more of that confidence.
This advert made me think, oh, wow, H&M did suits. But at the same time, it made me think they don't do suits for me, because there's no way that I'd go to an interview dressed as these guys were dressed. It made me think, oh, H&M do suits, maybe fashion suits from a fashion perspective, but not really a destination for more formal interview suits. So I think that backfired a little bit, trying to make it a little bit too young and trendy.
There is a book I've been reading recently that's called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. What H&M has done really well is living into this story arc that H&M needs to act as the empathetic and authoritative guide for that hero, which in this case are these young men going on their first interview.
I thought that they could have built a stronger emotional connection with the audience. They had this really powerful monologue from the mum, and she's talking to Jason, and you can see Jason is her son. And there's one guy in the ad who's listening to the voice recording on his phone. But then it keeps flicking to 5 different men. So I just thought they could have really built a bit more connection and tension.
What can the industry be learning from this ad, Tamara?
For me, I think it's storytelling. It's just such a powerful tool. In my last company, we had ebbs and flows of huge storytelling moments where that was really where we rallied behind and made sure that the brand ID came out quite strong. And then moments where it was very much at that lower funnel, like, close the deal. And you forget a little bit of how important that broader storyline is. Even if it doesn't show up in every ad, it has to travel with you across the different channels and places that your brand is showing up. So I think it's a nice reminder to other brands to really not lose sight of who they are. Even if they're a brand that have been around for a number of years, there's always an opportunity to remind people why you're that guide or that support for the consumers.
I think it's a great example of how to take a powerful insight to create an ad that is very relevant and meaningful. But my other lesson is really to make sure that you can deliver on what you're promising in your adverts. Otherwise, you're putting out something that sounds amazing, free suit hire for 24 hours. And if you can't deliver on that, then you're only going to disappoint your customers. And as someone that thought this is great, I'm going to go away and have a look into it. Before seeing this ad, I'd heard so much positive PR about it. Like, most British newspapers have picked this up and said what an amazing thing H&M are doing. But when I read into it in more detail, it did feel a bit more like a PR stunt that they'd put a big media budget behind. So there's only one suit available, which is okay, but you can't choose the size of your shirt, your jacket, or your trousers individually. You have to have one package. So even though in the ad it showed people of different body types, if you want if you've got a 32-inch waist, but you want a medium shirt, that's impossible as part of the scheme. So it wasn't thought through as well. And I did try and book a suit hire, and there's none available. So whilst the scheme only launched 2 weeks ago and they're putting these adverts out, it's actually impossible if I wanted to get a suit to get one, which just made me a bit disappointed in this initiative. It's got so much positive potential to do something good, yet you can't actually order the suits. And the other thing that I thought as well was there's nothing for women. Why is this just focused on men? H&M have smart formal wear for women, but this is only applicable to men. So I don't know, my overarching thought was it's a very successful PR strategy. They've got loads of good press off this, but if I was a consumer that actually wanted to take advantage of the scheme, it's impossible.
Just to finish off the show, I would like you both on the count of 3 to give this ad marks out of 5 by just holding up your hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 4. Tamara, Phil, thank you so much for your time. But most importantly, we'd like to know what you think of this ad. If you could comment below on whether this is LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube, it'd be fantastic to hear what the wider industry thinks as well. But until then, we will see you next week. Thank you so much.